Hello and welcome to the 6th module of Dangerous Goods Awareness Program. In Module 2, we learnt that in case of any dangerous goods or other special loads, a special loads notification has to be filed with the pilot in command. This document is known as a NOTOC.
Does the NOTOC apply only to dangerous goods, Professor?
No. The NOTOC is document given to the pilot in command, operating the flight to inform him of any special loads that are being carried on that particular flight. Such special loads include other than dangerous goods shipments, perishable goods, or the carriage of live animals or life-saving human organs being rushed for a needy patient, etc.
Professor, what purpose does it serve?
For example, in case of an in-flight emergency, the captain knows how to address the emergency, given the information of the location of dangerous good shipment in the aircraft hold. The captain can then take appropriate measures to respond to such emergency situations. For that matter, also in case of a special shipment like perishables, life-saving human organs, or live animals on board, the captain is aware of urgency and action specific to each category of shipments in case the aircraft is involved in any in-flight technical emergencies.
Shall we now see what a NOTOC looks like, Professor?
Yes. As you see, this is what the NOTOC looks like. There are 3 clear sections on the NOTOC documents as you see. The first is a general information section which consists of the following: the loading station, the flight number, the date, the aircraft registration number, and the person responsible for preparing the NOTOC document.
When you say person responsible for preparing the NOTOC document, could you elaborate, Professor?
The staff responsible must have undergone the required dangerous goods training in case a dangerous goods shipment is being loaded. Normally, it would be the load controller or the cargo staff who completes the NOTOC document. Normally, it would be the load controller or the cargo staff who complete the NOTOC document. They must undergo the category-specific dangerous goods training program as part of their training requirements if they are required to handle dangerous goods shipments. There may be instances when company material, also known as COMAT, such as engineering materials comprising dangerous goods shipments, are being transported for the airline's use at an outstation. In such cases, the NOTOC could be completed by a personnel from engineering department if they have undergone the dangerous goods training.
Professor, the Value Jet crash occurred because one of the COMAT shipments was incorrectly loaded, isn't it?
Exactly. 1. Incorrect packaging or loading incorrectly. And secondly, not informing the flight crew could endanger the flight safety. It is the responsibility of the loading supervisor to ensure that any dangerous goods shipment is correctly loaded and compatibility with other shipments is maintained. Let's watch a clipping of the Value accident.
Inside the boxes are 144 out-of-date oxygen generators loosely packed. A ramp agent places them around a large airplane tire. The pilots are unaware that they have a dangerous load on board. 30 minutes to go. As the plane taxis to the runway, the loose packing and unsecured cargo jolt one of the generators into action. It begins to heat up. 11 minutes to disaster. The plane taxis to its takeoff position. In the hold, the surface of the metal generator gets hotter and hotter. Soon the heat ignites the cardboard box and bubble wrap, and the blaze begins. 10 minutes to disaster. Flight 592 takes off from Miami International. Even though the hold is airtight, the fire is now blazing, sustained by the oxygen produced by the generators. 3.5 minutes to go.
What is that?
The sound heard by the crew is one of the tires in the hold bursting, just as it did in the lab test. Unknown to the pilots, the fire begins to eat away at the systems on board.
We got some kind of electrical problem.
The battery charge is kicking in.
We're losing everything.
The battery charger can't help the stricken jet as the fire is consuming everything in its path, including the control cables that run to the rear of the plane. Captain Kubek begins to lose control of the aircraft. Temperatures in the hold have now reached more than 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. In the cabin, passengers are becoming desperate as they choke on the toxic fumes. Flight attendant Jennifer Stearns rushes into the cockpit, but the pilots refuse to drop the masks, knowing that oxygen would only make the fire worse. 1 minute from disaster. The cabin floor burns and begins to cave in. 7 seconds to disaster. Now, no one is in control of the plane. The crew is probably unconscious, overcome by toxic fumes.
Well understood. What does the second section deal with, Professor?
The second section informs the captain of the description of dangerous goods on board the aircraft. The section provides us with the details of information about dangerous goods. Station of unloading, which specifies where the dangerous goods shipment is to be unloaded. As the dangerous goods is transported as a cargo shipment, it will have an airway bill number and necessary information accompanying it. Proper shipping name of the dangerous goods shipment. Class or division of dangerous goods which identifies the threat. UN or ID number is the unique number which identifies the type of dangerous goods. Sub-risks has to be mentioned to understand the risk associated with the shipment.
Could you please elaborate the sub-risk, Professor?
It is important to determine the level of risk between two dangerous goods shipments if they are being carried on the same flight. Let's take an example where there are two dangerous goods that have been mixed. For example, methyl acetate is mixed with a small quantity of corrosive acid. Though the property of the mixed material would still be flammable, which is class 3. The sub-risk of this material would be a corrosive, and hence we would mention class 8 therein. Number of packages of dangerous goods. The net quantity or TI, that is, transport index, per package. This informs the amount of dangerous goods present in each package. The TI or transport index is only applicable to radioactive material. It indicates the radiation of the radioactive material at a distance of 1 meter away. If it is a radioactive material, the category of radioactive material is mentioned, and the packaging group.
Professor, compatibility of shipments needs to be ensured for other special shipments as well, just as we discussed in Module 2.
Yes, As we discussed compatibility of shipments between DGR shipments, the loading supervisor also ensures the compatibility between all other special shipments are maintained as well. Suppose there is human remains on board, then the loading supervisor ensures that no perishables are loaded along with it. Or, for example, when you have a shipment of live animals, you do not load dry ice or any toxic substances or radioactive materials.
Do we have to complete the NOTOC document for the shipment carried on cargo aircrafts as well, Professor?
Yes, the same procedures apply. The label CAO signifies that it is mandatory to transport the special load or a dangerous goods shipment on a cargo freighter only. If the special load comprising dangerous goods has to be transported through the wide-body aircraft, then the ULD ID has to be indicated on the palletized shipments or the ULD containing DG. Just as the positions of special shipments are indicated in a passenger flight, likewise, the same procedure is adopted to indicate the location inside the cargo hold of a cargo freighter for the special goods that have been loaded. To identify the type of dangerous goods, an interline message procedure code is mentioned. These codes are usually available on the reverse of the NOTOC document for quick reference.
What does the third section deal with, Professor?
The third and final section informs the captain of any other category of special goods other than the dangerous goods category if on board. For purposes of this course, let us take an example of the NOTOC in case of live animal cargo being transported. This section reveals following information. Again, we have the name of the station where the special load has to be transported to. Airway bill number, which helps in identification of the cargo shipment. Contents and description, which identifies the contents of the special load. For example, if it is a live animal, such as a dog being transported, it would provide information such as the number of packages, which is one as shown in the example. Quantity. Here, the number of such shipment being carried is indicated. Supplementary information could include any additional information about the special load. In this example, the dog's breed may be indicated. Code. The respective code is mentioned. If a ULD has been used, then the ULD ID as well as the compartment or cargo hold position in which it is loaded is indicated.
Does this complete the NOTOC, Professor?
Coming back to the carriage of DG, earlier we spoke of in-flight emergencies and the crew responding to such emergencies.
They must be having some guidance book in such an event. Isn't so, Professor?
Yes. The emergency response guide indicates the drill code to be followed in case of any transportation incident. It provides the checklist for the cabin crew as well as the flight deck crew to handle the emergency, whether it is in the aircraft cabin or the flight in general.
Now we understand the relevance of the NOTOC document. Any other procedures to be completed, Professor, thereafter?
Finally, the NOTOC has to be signed by the loading supervisor to confirm that all special cargo, including dangerous goods shipments, have been loaded correctly. By doing so, the loading supervisor confirms that the dangerous goods have been inspected and that the packages and overpacks are free from damages and leaks. By countersigning the no-talk document, the captain of the aircraft confirms that he has clearly understood the locations, has received the correct information, and is aware of the special goods on board the flight. As you are aware, a final loading instruction report, in short, known as LIR for the flight, which provides information on the distribution of the shipments in different holds of the aircraft, is filed for every flight. The no-talk filed with the LIR document confirms that the special load and all other shipments have been correctly loaded in their respective positions.
Professor, what would happen in case the aircraft with the DG shipment is transiting through another station and the next station also has a DG shipment to be loaded, or there is a crew change at the transit station?
Remember, for multi-sector flights involving a crew change, each station issuing a no-talk shall prepare a separate no-talk for each station en route. On arrival at the next station, the ramp agent shall collect copies of no-talk from the incoming flight. The no-talk document submitted by the transit station will now be updated to include all joining special loads and presented by the loading supervisor to the captain undertaking the next sector flight. Changes with joining transit special loads must be properly indicated on the transit no-talk, taking care to ensure illustrating if the earlier loading positions have been altered.
That completes all flight documentation procedures for cargo shipments on board the aircraft, along with rest of the necessary flight documents required to be provided to the crew before aircraft departure.
Once the aircraft has departed, the load controller relays necessary departure messages to all destination stations and the operations control center of the airline. This message includes details of the special shipments on board. Especially, the load controller must relay the message to the operations control center of the airline if dangerous goods shipments are on board. Information on the other special goods shipments are advised to the commercial and cargo offices of the respective destination station. That completes the procedure for post-flight operational messages on the aircraft's departure.
We have now clearly understood the importance of the NOTOC document and why and how it needs to be completed and filed. With this, we end the 6th and the final module on Dangerous Goods Awareness Program. We have now gained an awareness of the requirements for air transportation in the case of dangerous goods and the importance of correct documentation to ensure flight safety, and also how other special loads are transported. Thank you.